So it's currently holiday season and we all know what that means, especially as techies. A lot of tech is going on sale and Motorola has definitely came to the party. Currently they have the Moto Stylus of 2024 at a price of $199 and the Moto Edge of 24 is at a price of 250 bucks. 50 bucks more versus 50 bucks less. What are the differences? What are you getting? Let's discuss it. Both of these rear cameras, or as far as the main sensors, are 50 megapixels and the ultra wide is 13. You can see that the Motorola logo and everything is on the back. Both of them have that leathery texture feel in the back here. Now, one thing about it is the characteristics in terms of the materials as far as like how it feels in the hand. So this is made of plastic and this one has a metal body or aluminum. I believe it's either aluminum or titanium or whatever the case may be, but it's definitely metal. So feel is going to be better on the Moto Edge. It's definitely going to feel more premium. Now looking at the physical layout in terms of the buttons, power button is on the right side on both of these devices, as well as the volume up and down keys, and you can see that camera bump as well. On the left side of the device, SIM tray slot for the Stylus and a action button for the Moto Edge. On the bottom is where things differ as well too. So Type-C is in the center, speaker grill is on the right, but on the right on the Stylus, you see that we have a stylus, of course, and you also have a headphone jack on the left side on the bottom. Now on the Moto Edge is a SIM tray slot. One of the differences is the display, and it's in one key area. Now both devices do feature an in-finger or in-screen fingerprint scanner, and it is optical. So they work pretty well. Like when you're unlocking the phone, you can do it at the same time. They both do a good job. So that's not gonna be an issue on either one of the devices. But 6.7-inch Full HD display on the Stylus here that's POLED, and it's 1200 nits of peak brightness. While on the Stylus here, it's going to be POLED as well. It's Full HD, but the peak brightness is 1300 nits. And the other key thing that's the difference is one screen maxes out at 120 hertz, which is the Stylus, and the other screen maxes out at 144 hertz, which is the Edge. Another key thing too is that the Stylus is water repellent, while the Moto Edge of 24 is water resistant. And to be specific, IP68. It is not IP69. Now, when it comes to the battery, both devices do feature a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So battery life isn't gonna be an issue amongst either one of these here, but the differences lie in the charging speed. So with the Stylus, you get a max charging speed of 30 watts, while on the Edge, you get a max charging speed of 68 watts. And that is wired. Now both devices do allow you to have the capability of wireless charge, and the max is going to be 15 watts. Now when it comes to the internal specifications, both devices do feature 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage, and that is specifically the unlock models here. Qualcomm Snapdragon 6 Gen 1 on the Stylus and the Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 on the Moto Edge. So when it comes to raw performance, is there going to be a significant difference? Not really.
Okay,
I ran these tests here this morning, and it's quite a bit of a difference there when you look at it like this. Single core score on the Moto Stylus is 653 and multi-core is 2292, which seems odd because it used to be a little bit faster than that. And on the Edge here, it is going to be 1015 for the single core and 2899 for the multi-core. But when we pull up a 2.2 benchmark, you can see that the scores are pretty similar, with one being a little bit faster or a little bit higher on the Edge here. So the numbers do reflect what it's supposed to. So overall performance in terms of on paper is going to be better on the Edge. But when it comes to everyday usability, the honest truth is that you're not really going to notice that much of a difference. So if performance is something that you are worried about, you're not going to worry. You're not going to have to worry about that on either one of these devices. As far as display quality, I told you guys earlier that both of these devices feature Full HD displays that are POLED. So we can watch a video here I can show you real quick. They both look good. Let's just be honest. I think they both look really good. But it does look as though the Edge is slightly better. I don't know if that's translating on video here, but it does seem like the Edge is a bit more poppier. Now, neither one of these devices feature HDR, but I think overall screens look good on both devices, but it does look slightly better on the Edge. Now, let's talk about software and OS and things of that nature. So both of these devices is going to have Android 14 coming out of the box with a promised update of one major one from Motorola. So they are both currently running Android 15, which is a plus because, you know, from history of Motorola, they don't typically update their phones on the, you know, yearly basis. It's usually one and done, if one at all. Typical features like the chop action for the flashlight, you know, key things, and then the twist action for the cameras. You know, it's going to be on both of these phones here. So that's nothing to worry about. Any updates beyond that, it's pretty much over. There's not going to be any more support for major OS updates for these phones. So if you do buy either one of these phones, Android 15 is pretty much it. Another thing too is that both devices do feature dual speakers. So that's something that you got to sacrifice. And as far as the overall speaker quality, is it going to be better on either one? No, they both sound the same to me. But when it comes to the stylus here, one key characteristic is the stylus. As you guys can see, there's a couple different modes that you can use. You can write a note. They have the, let me get out of this. You can write a note, you can make a GIF, handwriting calculator, freeform crop, and keep notes. But, you know, if you're a person that uses the stylus, then, you know, I understand why it'd be a feature that you want to keep. But other than that, it is just a stylus. There's no Bluetooth. Oops. There's no Bluetooth capability on it or anything like that. So don't expect anything along the lines of the Ultra from Samsung. But in that other aspect, yeah, the Edge has this button up here. So let's say you want to, you know, have it activate a certain application. In my case, I have it activating YouTube Studio. So I can literally press that button and YouTube Studio activates, and it's actually, you know, pretty good. So you can literally put it on any application you want. You can press and hold it for something else. So you can see, you got play music, recorder, screen record, and I got it on launch for YouTube Studio. So it's actually a pretty cool button. They allow you to map it on, like the Moto Edge of 2025, which has the same button over there, but it's actually the Moto AI button. So for example, I can unlock this phone really quickly and show you guys. So you press that and hold it. It just activates the Moto AI as opposed to activating the application that you want, which kind of sucks. Cameras. When it comes to cameras here, as I told you guys earlier, they are the same megapixels, but if you guys can see it on the video, you can see the detail looks a little bit better on the Moto Edge here. It looks like it's a little bit brighter, and I can show you a little bit better on the video mode here. So max resolution is going to be 4K 30 frames per second on the Moto Edge, and the same thing on the Moto Stylus here. For some reason, I got it on full screen mode over here. But as far as aspect ratio, but overall video quality and everything, I think it's a little bit better on the Moto Edge here. It looks better. And then when it comes to the front camera, they both have the same megapixels. You can do 4K 30 frames per second on the front cameras as well. And I think these are where things are similar. So it's not much difference when it comes to that. Now, when it comes to gaming on both of these devices, they both can run Genshin Impact at 60 frames per second on medium to high settings. And it's actually kind of impressive. And this is one of those things where I think Snapdragon is superior in, or they're just more popular in, or maybe just better optimized, because when it comes to playing Genshin Impact on both of these phones, it's going to be a pleasant experience. So give me a second, I'm going to load it up on both devices and show you how it looks. All right, so we got Genshin Impact loaded on the Moto Stylus here, and the first thing I'm gonna do is go to the graphic settings and show you guys what it's running at. So we're in medium right now, 60 frames per second. Got motion blur off, and I can tell you right now that it is pretty smooth. It is definitely running at 60 frames per second, and oh, might as well go ahead and get that here. Get those free Primo gems. But yeah, it's running pretty well. And I definitely gamed a lot of on this phone here, playing Genshin Impact, and on the Stylus, it has really impressed me. So got Genshin Impact loaded up on the Moto Edge here, and the first thing I want to do, like on the Stylus, is go to the graphic settings and show you guys that I'm running on the same settings here. 60 frames per second, motion blur all, it's at medium, and I am running 60 frames per second. Pretty much where I left off at on the last phone, and yeah. Pretty awesome experience. If gaming isn't a priority to you, then both of these devices would be a great experience. You won't have to worry about that. I think Snapdragon CPUs are just a bit more optimized when it comes to playing a game like this. But when you look at other games like Weather and Waves, you're going to have the same experience as well. So it's not going to be really much to complain about if gaming is a priority. So when it comes to spending $199 or 250 bucks, ultimately it just matters to you what matters more. Do you want an aluminum frame? Do you want a plastic build? Do you want IP68 dust and water resistance? Do you want water repellent design? Do you want a mid-range processor more so? Do you want a budget-focused processor? All those things are questions that you have to answer. But the main thing that I want you to consider is that when it comes to software support, Android 15 is where it ends. So if that's something that's a major factor to you, then neither one of these devices would be a good option. But if you don't care, I think the extra 50 bucks is worth it to get this one. But if you're in a crunch and you can't spend the extra 50, get this one. Both of these devices offer great value, and at the current prices that they are right now, it's definitely worth the money. So you can't go wrong either way. But in the comment section below, what do you think? Do you think it's worth it to spend an extra 50 bucks and get the Edge? Or you think it's worth it to save the extra 50 bucks and get the Stylus? And if you have either one of these devices, let me know how your experience has been. But be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your family and friends. But until next time, I am gone. See you guys. Peace.